Hello, thank you for tuning in to the Financial Chick Show today. I'm your host, Denise Nostrom, the CEO and owner of Diversified Financial Solutions, a full-service independent financial planning firm located in Medford. I'm here live every Friday from 5:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 103.9 LA News Radio. Your Financial Chick is here to help you make better financial decisions and choices to improve your life and reduce your anxiety and stress about money. If you have any questions on anything we discuss here on the air, check out my website at financialchickshow.com or call my office at 631-758-8691. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at Diversified Financial Solutions. Today, I'm delighted to have a repeat guest on the show with me today. She could not be here at a better time. I mean, we really need her. And I just love her. I love you. Welcome to the show, Mary Calamia. How are you doing?
Good, and the feeling is mutual.
Aww.
We've gotten to be really good friends over the years.
Yes.
And you do you, and I do me.
We do, and we do a great job.
And we try, right?
We're gonna help the peeps, you know?
This is totally a tough time of the year, right?
Oh my God. So I guess we'll start, tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your background.
Sure. So I'm a clinical social worker in the biz. I hate to even admit almost 30 years at this point. Doing for the last 3 years telehealth entirely, which is a whole new world for all of us.
Oh yeah.
And working with adolescents, adults, seniors. Just trying to help people keep it together at a time when it's really hard to hold it together. Like this world we're in right now is a tough world to navigate. And so that's what I do, pretty much all day.
And I bet you are swamped.
Busy.
Yeah. I just talking to my clients too. Everybody's downtrodden and very sad and just kind of blue. And I'm sure it's the world, the economy in my lane, but I guess one of the biggest things is the seasonal depression.
Yes.
Right? So that's kind of what we're going to talk about. We'll talk about a little bit of everything, but I think we'll start off because I think seasonal depression is very valid, and I can attest to the fact that I have it as well.
I think we all have a touch of it.
Yes.
We're coming out of I don't know, like the 96th or 97th day where it's gray and overcast. I'm so tired of gray and overcast. Well, I guess I'm being a tad sarcastic.
No.
But
it feels like it, though.
We have the lead up to the holidays, and everybody's kind of busy. Although this holiday season even wasn't like
different.
That frenetic pace was a lot different. People are just kind of like, because the financial situation is so bleak, eggs are like $96 a dozen. You have all I
laugh, but it's not funny.
The sticker shock just in the supermarket alone, and people. I know somebody who drives for UPS. One of the driver people who said that the shipments this year and the deliveries this year were down, and so money's down. Like everything's there. We all say though, let's just get to Christmas and we're happy and and whatever, and then that comes and goes, and now we're left with January, February, March, which typically gray, cold. February can be real dicey with snow and all of that, and we don't have, our bodies are not producing serotonin at the same rate they are during the months when we have more sunlight. Our bodies are very connected to the time of day. And so we're already kind of in the winter blues and the doldrums, and then add to that the bills that come in,
that help too,
and all the crap you didn't get for Christmas that you thought you wanted, or the stuff you got that you didn't like, or whatever. And but we all talk always about depression, suicide at the holidays. It's really not at the holidays, it's really now. It's really the first few weeks of January where we see a very high rate of suicide, drug overdose, recurrence of depression, anxiety, because the days
coming off that like euphoria, right?
Yeah, and
now
the days are short. We tend to isolate and hibernate, which is probably the worst thing you could be doing. But you look outside and you're like, meh.
That's me too. I'm like, I just want to sit in my house and with a blanket.
Under the blankies. And if I didn't have a dog, I'd have no reason to get dressed in the morning, right? Because she has to be walked. But we're just like missing all of that. The vitamin D, our vitamin D levels are down. We tend to overeat. We tend to overindulge, drinking, eating, whatever. And like laying around on the couch, blankies and the remote control and the drool and all of that. so that's where we are at this time of the year.
Yes.
It can be really depressing. You know, I think I said on Facebook the other day, I'm a Floridian trapped in the body of a New Yorker.
I like that. Yes, no, that's me too. And
Yeah.
I related to that very well.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
just stuck here right now.
Mm-hmm.
And in the summer, I'm very happy to be here, but
Seriously.
when they're all sweating down there, but right now I'm a little jealous.
Uh-huh.
And it's just, we
You're my
have
spirit animal. I'm telling you exactly.
we have to take care of ourselves. We have to kind of double down on some of those things that we do to take care of ourselves right now.
Right. So, I know you wrote an article, and there was something about a lamp that you can get to replicate sun. Like, tell me a little bit more about that.
So those lamps, they're the first thing that, even if you have like seasonal affect disorder or seasonal depression, most doctors will not want to put you on medication. They'll want you to try a lamp first. They have some sunlight lamps. They're like, you can go on Amazon. Well, maybe you'll get an empty box in the mail. But sorry, that's an inside joke.
Inside story.
But and they're fairly inexpensive. Certainly less expensive than a trip to a psychiatrist.
True.
And you just plug the lamp in. You sit under it for about a half hour a day.
Okay.
And our bodies have like receptors in them, like solar panels. We absorb the sunlight, we produce vitamin D, we produce serotonin, and it helps considerably to elevate people's moods. So a lot of people buy those lamps and just, bake under them for a half hour, or an hour a day.
So there's a bunch of them. Like, would there be any ones that you would recommend?
I can't name one offhand,
okay,
no, but
it's
you just, sunlight lamp or they have like some kind of.
I think I need that in my office.
Yeah.
It'll keep me perky.
It's not a bad thing to have on hand.
Yeah. I have to say, the one thing that's been nice, we've tried to look for the little winds, right? I have to say, well, today it's pitch black today, but the sunsets have been extraordinarily amazing, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the days have been dreary and gloomy and everything like that, but there's certain nights the sunset's been unbelievable.
Yeah, they have been. And actually, yesterday morning I got up and I was walking the dog, and the sky was like magenta. So even some of the sunrises have been really beautiful because there's so much haze in the air, I guess. And,
okay. Interesting.
It's just, I wish the sunset wasn't that, it's getting better.
Yes, we're on the upswing.
We're on the upswing.
Yes,
this is a good thing, indeed.
So we're trying to make people feel up. So, we have the lamp. What are some other things that you said? Well, maybe increasing your vitamin D.
Increasing your vitamin D, always try to check with your providers, of course, because vitamin D is one of those ones you can get toxic levels. But vitamin D, it's easy to say this, except we haven't seen the sun much. But get out in the sun every day, even if we have this muted kind of dull sunlight. Try to get out in the sun every day. Expose your body to some sunlight. Watch your carb intake.
Okay.
It's very easy to overload on carbs at this time of the year, and they wreak havoc on our brains. They wreak havoc on our ability to concentrate and all of that.
Well, right now I'm doing my detox. I do an annual detox, so I have to eliminate pretty much everything.
Oh God!
At this point, it's good though. It's on 2 weeks.
Okay.
And it always kind of resets me and everything like that.
So that's good.
But carbs is definitely something.
Carbs, right?
I don't know. You feel like this time of year, it's almost like the bears when they hibernate. You want to eat them.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's something to that, right?
Yeah.
I guess it's something.
Well, because also our body's fat keeps us warm.
Mm-hmm.
Our bodies want to be warm. It hasn't been a terribly cold winter to that extent, but coming off the holidays where we eat meat.
Well, I think that's another problem too, right? You eat so much and then you kind of say, "Oh, I'm going to stop," but you still have that sugar desire and everything. Yeah.
Body's like, come on, give me more, man.
Yeah. So I'm here with Mary Calamia, who's a social worker, and we're talking about seasonal depression, or quote, the winter blues, and some things that you can identify that you may or may not have it, and some ways to kind of help and some ideas. So we're going to come back after the break and talk a little bit more about that, and maybe just talk about some other things that, with mental health, and we know it's a big issue. So you're listening to the Financial Chick Show. I'm the Financial Chick. I help you find solutions when you feel like there are none. So stay tuned after the break for more. Welcome back. This is Denise Snowstrom, the Financial Chick. My company's in Medford, and you can reach me at 631-758-8691 or visit my website at financialchickshow.com. I'm here to help you on your financial journey. Over the years, things change, and I'm here to help you navigate all those changes. So we're mixing up a little bit today, doing something a little bit different, because I know I'm talking to a lot of my clients, and maybe some of you that are listening today that you're feeling a little blue, you're feeling a little down, and it's that time of the year, and the weather is kind of funky and everything. So I have Mary Calamia with me, a social worker, and we're talking a little bit about seasonal depression. And so, what more can we tell them about?
What you do, it's not what we're talking about here is not so irrelevant to what you do. Everybody, I have a stack of 414H statements that I won't even open.
Which you probably in a good way, yeah. That's adding to the seasonal depression. People that have open.
Totally, mood and the general mood of society is totally tied to the economy. Mm-hmm. There's no question.
Yeah, we've got inflation. We got a horrible market right now. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of different things.
Absolutely.
We won't go political, but
no.
Well, we can.
And there's no need to. I mean, I think everybody just knows. I was kind of laughing yesterday. I ran into the supermarket to get one item, so we know how that goes. Mm-hmm. And usually when I go in to get one item, it's like $30 or $40. Yesterday it was like $87, mm-hmm. and it was no more than I would ordinarily, do when I went to get that one item. So it's tough times.
It is.
It's tough times. It goes down to the younger generation and.
Well, it's very interesting. Again, inflation, that's the thing we're talking about, things costing more. What's very interesting about this is that most people alive today have never experienced inflation. Mm-hmm. We have really not seen inflation. It's been since the 70s. So when we had the odd and even day with the gasoline, mm-hmm. and food prices and everything like that. So you figure most people, your millennials, your Gen Z, they have no idea that stuff can go up. If anything, what's very interesting, computers, TVs, those items over the past decade, 15 years, have come down in price. Mm-hmm. So they're like, wow, this is kind of cool, Yeah. But now, and then, home prices went up. We really, we had the 2008 downturn, 2009 in the real estate market, but people really are not used to this. No. And they don't know how to handle it.
We were just, in my other life, my alter ego, I'm a real estate agent.
I was going to have it on the notes that you're embarked on a new adventure. Yes. So yes, I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
So tell a little bit about that.
Well, so real estate. It is what it is. No, I'm just getting my feet wet in the real estate market, and I laugh because, like you say, like most of the millennials and the Gen Zs. When we look at the mortgage rates and everybody's like, oh my God, the mortgage rates are so high to buy a house and blah, blah, blah. I mean, in the 70s, they were like, 18%?
12 to 18,
12 to 18%. When I bought my first house, I was so excited that I got such a low rate at 5 3/4.
Which was great.
Which is great. Now it's like 5 3/4 and people are having a stroke over it. It's everything's perception, right? Because a lot of the young homeowners or home buyers now have no idea. They've never lived a life where they weren't aware of 3% and 3.5% mortgages.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's definitely culture shock.
Culture shock, mm-hmm. Exactly. So it's so interesting to watch them saying, oh my God, it's so much. And I'm thinking, it really isn't that bad. Mm-hmm. And but it's perception, right? Perception is reality.
Well, hopefully in that field that we're going to see the house prices come down. They come down a little bit. Yeah. But, that's usually the thing. The rates are up, prices are down. But right now we're in this weird place that the prices are still high and the rates are up. So,
right.
People can, hold out a little bit and then come see Mary and she'll get you a nice house.
I'm happy to, or come see me and I'm happy to list your house and get you out of your house
there
also.
You go. That's right. The people are still exiting.
Dual services here.
Well, congratulations on getting
Thanks. Working with a wonderful brokerage up in Setauket. Am I allowed to say the name?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, North Shore Properties Realty.
Absolutely.
And just very excited about doing this now because it gets me out, it gets me meeting people and helping people meet their dreams and meet their goals in other ways.
I love it.
Yeah, so it's exciting.
So basically you don't sleep now is really what you're trying to
say. I don't sleep.
Okay, that's all good.
I don't sleep.
Hey, listen, when you're alive, you live.
That's right.
That's it. Just go for
plenty
it.
of time to lay down when I'm dead. Exactly.
Not to bring it on a morbid tip, but listen, we're trying to be positive.
Right, exactly. No, you got to keep moving and thinking about the future and planning ahead head and saying, well, you know what, that might be a nice retirement career. So, I'm enjoying it very much.
I love the planning. It's
all about keeping it moving, exactly, and thinking about where you're headed.
Yeah. So, but in your other life, that's okay. But as far as like people, we were talking a little bit during the commercial break that like the high schools and the middle schools, and to even talk to my clients, the kids, they're not all right.
No, they're not. We had a 6-year-old bring a gun into a school intentionally to shoot a teacher. This is not normal behavior, right? Mm-hmm. So we had this lockdown, and we have kids who were already glued to devices and glued to, speaking in hieroglyphs instead of actually speaking, communicating with their voices, but typing, texting, TikToking, Snapchat, everything but, communication. And then what did we do? We locked them down and isolated them for months and months on end, and then they come out and we expect them to be able to communicate, and they don't know how to do that. They don't want to. They're terrified of it.
Well, a lot of adults are too.
Yes.
They don't want to go back to the office.
Oh,
They want to be home.
Yeah.
They, don't know how to kind of mingle and get out and socialize. And I don't know. We're not going to obviously figure out the answers here, but, how do we get back to... I don't like this new normal stuff.
Yeah, new normal is garbage.
But how do we get people? People are social. Mm-hmm. That's just and that is healthy for the brain. Right? I'm taking over your field,
right.
But it seems like it would make sense, right?
But I think what's starting to happen, it's kind of like a social Darwinism kind of thing, where people are the next generation and the next generation after that and the next generation after that. Verbal communication is starting to disappear, and it's becoming their normal.
Right.
And they kind of, you almost feel like eventually they're not going to speak at all, 20 generations down the line, because
which is
they
crazy,
don't want to.
Everybody does it. It's like they'll throw you a text, and there's times to do a text and email and stuff like that, but I find a lot of times it takes a whole lot longer. Just give me a call. Let's yes, no, and we're off. We could text for a half an hour to an hour, and I don't have time for that.
And they right. I agree. So so much fast. Just say it, right? It stresses me out too. And I can't tell you how many times a client didn't show up for a session, and I'll call them and I'll say, everything all right? Because we able to log in. Oh, I texted you. Well, I have a landline, so you didn't text me. You texted a number.
But
why didn't you pick up the phone and call and leave a message and tell me you need to cancel your appointment?
Skills, because they
right, exactly. So now I find when I meet a new client, I have to go through that with them and say, by the way, this is a landline.
Right.
This is how you need to call me. Dial the actual digits. Speak into the mouthpiece. It's very, very. It's a whole new world, right?
And it is challenging, every day, because. There's a lot of different alternatives. So they're texting, or they're emailing, or then sometimes you get the Facebook. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no, I don't do business through Facebook.
Yeah.
You have to, you have to call me or you have to text me. So it just makes things, like we talk about, technology just make things easier, but it's made life really quite more complicated.
Way more complicated.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And we wonder why everybody goes, I have no time, I'm so busy. You're not busy doing things that are fruitful. You're doing busy work.
Yeah.
That's nonsensical.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And another thing we're seeing so much of, I do a lot of work for the New York Council on Problem Gambling. I see their clients, their patients, and this gaming addiction. I just had a wonderful training through them on gaming addiction, and this they're just glued to not just the the piece. The PlayStations and all of these games on the phone, games on the computer, games everywhere. There's games. And sports betting and all.
Oh, that's what I was in my head. I was thinking casino and sports betting and stuff like that. Which is, then that comes in the money side of it too.
18 to 35-year-olds. I can't tell you, college kids coming in $30,000-$40,000 in debt from sports betting.
Yikes! No way.
Crazy.
Right. We're almost done,
Wow.
man. We got 25 seconds.
Wow,
now.
Unbelievable.
Well, thank you so much. It really is.
That was fast.
I know. It always goes so fast. Thank you so much. I always love talking to you.
Happy to be here.
We could go for another 2 years, right?
Exactly.
So I saw a quote this morning on this meditation app. We may encounter many defeats, but we must not be defeated. So let's be strong. That was by Maya Angelou. So Next week is going to be Phone In Friday, so call me with your questions. I'm excited to hear from all of you. Take care and be well. Until next week.